Coming up on BOI Weekly, I had a quick chat with the Ogun State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Otumba Bimbo Ashiru, on the partnership of the state government with the Bank of Industry.
Agricultural sector due to limited processing and preservation capacity. This results in high food prices and food importation, with its attendant effects on the nation's foreign reserves. To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes, and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
What we did was to ensure that we created the necessary awareness and made sure that we put the necessary machinery in place so that we can reach all the local governments in the state. And how did we achieve that? We set up a desk that will cater for all that, and all these people will come in here to come and make inquiries. And even where necessary that they need these cooperatives, we help them to do that. And after doing that, they are still a bit not sure whether the government will do that. And until we gave the first set of beneficiaries the loan, that was in May 2012. And like I always tell people that the first set of beneficiaries are the real sellers, which I'm actually showcasing today. And all the adire materials that were used during the Olympics, they were the ones that the beneficiaries. So what has happened now is that if you look at every hook and corner of the state, you see that all the beneficiaries, many people have benefited because they are now aware of it. And as I'm talking to you, we have over 1,000 requests that is pending, which we are working on.
Also, a lot of businesses are currently complaining, especially the ones that are import dependent, due to the devaluation of the naira. Is this something you're experiencing? Is this affecting the businesses that are being funded?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I will now talk in two perspectives, as a banker and as a government official, a public servant. First of all, let's look at the focus of our government. We are talking about if a country is import dependent, you are likely going to have a lot of pressure on your naira because a lot of people will have to be sourcing for dollars to be able to meet their own export and import demands. But having said that, this is a country in the First Republic in the 60s, we relied so much on agriculture, the cocoa, rubber. I mean, we made a lot of money. We ended up exporting all those goods out of this country. And during the advent of this oil, then people started focusing on oil. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, this is a country that has no business importing fuel into this country. We have refineries that were working before, but they are not working again. So people are now, so the focus more is on people importing goods into the country. No, we must now be an export-dependent economy because we are a country that we are blessed with a lot of mineral and natural resources. We are blessed with agricultural products. I mean, look at the extract on cassava. You can get ethanol oil there. You can get starch there. In commercial countries, look at the cassava revolution, whereby cassava flour is being used for bread. So what I'm saying basically is that we need to start looking at how we can source locally and do things locally. And I haven't said that it has no effect on this SME we are doing here because those people who are focusing on the fish farm, the block makers, all the people dealing with agricultural products, they have no problem about that because they are not going to import anyway their raw materials. They are actually going to be producing those goods, and once we've met the local consumption, then we can start exporting those goods, and which will help our currency. So the fact that what I'm trying to say is that we must start focusing on how we'll be exporting goods from this country, not importing goods. And that is the bane of our problem in Nigeria today.
I mean, you brought up a very important point about converting our agricultural product into adding value to our agricultural product. And this can only be done through processing. And to be sincere, we still do not have the infrastructural expertise the way we see in other developed countries. Is this something you're looking into? Are you hoping to fund food processors, people who are interested in processing food and giving them what they need to make this happen?
Our focus is to grow. You plant all those products, you harvest them, you now start processing them. So I'm talking about agro-processing area. So the fact is that we are funding those areas too. It's even one of the focus that, the agricultural products, the people doing, all those young graduates that are now going into farming, they're planting this. You see, it's a process, because agriculture that leads into industrialization, that is our own focus in Ogun State. And if you see some of the beneficiaries that you've met, you could see that they are doing a lot of that. They are processing. They have, even I can tell you that some of these doing this farm, some of their fish, they are now sending them out of the country. So the focus is basically there. It's not that we are just having the local consumption alone. We are doing this consumption so that it will feed other people. And that was what I said earlier, that once we meet the local consumption, then we can now focus on exporting those goods. And that is the focus. And we are funding that. Presently, I'm proud to tell you that about 1,043 individuals have benefited from this. And it has created jobs for direct and indirect jobs for over 100,000 people. So you could say that we understand the issues, we are focusing on that, and we are making sure that we are not going to be an import-dependent state. We are trying to grow. We have a good collaboration with Bank of Industry, because I'll be honest with you, we've actually worked together very well. We understand ourselves, and then we understand the process. Maybe because I have banking background, and some of my colleagues too, they understand how we process that. Most of the requests we send to them, they don't send them back because we must have done our own diligence. We must have gone around to ensure that the products, whatever request they are making, they are getting the right thing. But having said that, we, on our own too, we are trying to do the necessary to make sure that we have the necessary control. We ensure that beneficiaries see these funds not as a national cake, they see it as funds to help other people, because once they do that and they pay back, other people benefit from that. So we've always been collaborating with them, and where we think we are not getting the right attention, the right collaboration, the right support, we come back to them, and I'll be honest with you, the answer was as soon as we do that. And they are proud to make Ogun State as a point of reference. I remember the former MD of Bank of Industry, Ms. Uputu, she's always proud to wear our own Adire. And the Adire people, for example, they've actually benefited from BOI support, capacity building, and they come in here to find out, and we do a lot of training for them. So basically, we work together as a team, as one, and that's the reason why we've been successful in BOI.
We have also, spoken to a couple of these businesses, especially the micro businesses across the state, and some of them have brought up the issue of working capital. They wish they can have working capital. Do you agree that they need working capital?
Yes, you see, we need to be careful in this area. You see, even in the normal commercial bank, the prudential guidelines will not allow some startup business to be able to have access to these loans, because most of the requirements, they won't be able to meet the requirements. It's just like when you go and look for a job and ask you, do you have any experience? Where are you going to buy the experience from? You must get a job somewhere to get the experience. But people will say, oh, we want people with some years of experience. But I haven't said that. What we are focusing on is that for you to look at having these funds, you must have conceptualized the idea of setting up, probably have a fish farm, have the land. BOI loan will not give you money to go and buy the land in the first place. You must have had that, your land, or probably have a rented place where you want to do your business. So by the time we give you the fund, it's for you to be able to run the business. So when you're talking about working capital, there are two different aspects. Is it the working capital in the area whereby you use it to rent your building, to buy the land, and that's part of it. But the ones with BOI we give you is the funds that you use for you to run the business effectively. And what are we talking about? If you know to buy machinery, we give it. You have access to the fund. If you need to buy your raw materials, you have access to the funds. So these are working capital too. But most of them, they get it wrong by saying, oh, we want money to go and buy the land. So when you buy the land, what about the process of getting the approval, process of getting the CFO, process of getting governor's consent? I mean, the funds. So that means you are giving out the money that is not working for you. So we expect you to have that money, to have your land. You must have done the due diligence, you must have gotten your CFO, you have your, warehouse ready, you have all the requirements, all the things that you need to do to run the business. So machinery, you get money for your machinery, you get money for your raw materials, you get money for your products. But to give you money to go and buy land, to go and rent a space, to go and furnish the office, no, that's not what it's meant for. It's meant for you, the funds is meant for you to run the business. So that means for you to start to think of taking the loan, you must have had an idea of what you want to do. You must have, that's why we have to ask you about your business case, your immediate, we ask you for your immediate, medium, and long-term plans. So during that process, during that time, we'll be able to see where you fit into. And we'll be able to say, oh, this is what, and we even do advisory services too with this, free of charge for them, because we advise them on how they can run their business, on how they have the bookkeeping, on how they can do their business analysis, business plans, and everything. So these are the things we did training for 1,000 people about a year ago. We did training for 1,000 people. We did another one for about 500 people. So far, so good. We've trained over 2,500 people for this BOI because we need to let them know how. I think about 2 weeks ago, we still trained some people that were not able to meet the requirements on how they can meet the requirements.
It's always a pleasure to have you on BOI Weekly.
Thank you, Adeshewa.
And that's our program this week. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need information on how the Bank of Industry can support your business, log on to boinigeria.com or visit any of the BOI offices closest to you. I am Adeshewa Josh, and I'll see you again.